Okay, this is the second time I'm making this video. Hope this time it works. Okay, a few days ago I had a debate with Nephilim, and I'd like to make a follow-up video on it. So, to explain what went there, I will be leaving a link to his uploaded video of the debate. Basically, just audio with a black screen. He didn't even give me a slideshow like the others. Oh, well. And I will also try to upload my recording of it. A link should lead you to it. So here goes. First, we started with Skype. This is basically our communication without. Before the debate, a little bit before it, I sent him a message saying I'd like to debate about the mandelbrot set and everything else. As you can see here, he tells me, okay, accept the call, just you and me will talk. When I accepted the call, I got these guys as well. But yeah, sure, only he was the one that's talking. The other guys did laugh here and there. But still, at least tell me that you have a channel with some of your friends and you want me to join. And you want me to join in. Okay, come on. Be honest at least, something. The mandelbrot set, that's a very lovely, this is the image, a URL to this image that I gave him. At the time I didn't notice it, but it says here, you can see the URL, and it is talking about, is the mandelbrot set evidence of design? Why is the mandelbrot set evidence for design? I didn't notice that at the time that I sent you the URL, only later. Basically, mandelbrot set, that's it looks complex, it looks difficult, it looks beautiful in some minds. But the question is, did God design it? Basically, the mathematics, it is drawing done using mathematics. The mathematics behind it may seem difficult at first, but it's actually quite simple. You choose a point on the complex plane, any point, and you square it, and then you add the original point to this result, and you square that result again, square it again, add the original point, and so on. Repeat it several times, and eventually one of two things will happen: either the result will get larger and larger, or it will not. If, for example, if the absolute value of the result gets above 10, for example, that means it will only get larger here from here on out. If that happens, you color the original point white. If it doesn't, you color it black. And so, if you do it, for example, if after 50 iterations, you will get a nice image of the mandelbrot set. Now, to add color, you just say different numbers of iterations mean a different color. If it gets too big after 10 iterations, that's white. If it goes only after 20, it will be blue. If it goes after 40, it's red, and so on. And that gives you all the colors that we see in this image. Basically, it's quite simple. Did God do it? Is God the artist behind it? Well, good answer would be no. I mean, there is no need for a mind to create it, and there is the image of the mandelbrot set is dictated by the laws of mathematics. And to say that God made it means that you say that God created math. God created 1 + 1 = 2. If God wanted it, it could be 3, and that's inconceivable. I mean, for God to be able to change the laws of mathematics, for example, could he make a round square? Many places that question was brought up, they say no. God is bound by the laws of logic and mathematics. And so I asked the next question, which was about the number pi. Okay, here I reminded him that I'm still waiting for the answer about pi, and so he gets back to it.
I would say pi is a product of the physical properties of the laws of physics in mathematics, which God designed when he created this universe.
Yeah, sure. He says pi is a product of physics, it has nothing to do with, but it also adds mathematics, which is true. So I'll let him have that one. Yeah, pi is a byproduct of mathematics, but God could not have made pi to be any other value other than 3.1415. Pi is the ratio between a circumference and the diameter of a circle, and a circle is all points that are the same distance from a single point, and there is no place for God to tinker with it. I mean, it is set, it is bound by the laws of mathematics. Pi has to be 3.1415. Sure, maybe you can use different numbers. If you're in base 10, 16, base 2, whatever, you will have a different representation of the number pi. But on on a scale of 1 to 10, you will always put pi in the same location, regardless of your religion, language, or even if you're an alien from outer space. I don't know. Everywhere, pi is the same value. And so, not just in this universe, in any conceivable universe where the laws of logic work, pi will be 3.1415 something.
I need to get better video making tools and things. Well, never mind. This is the third time I'm making this. Okay, so where was I? Listen to this. Listen to the talk. It's very interesting. We went on to talk about morphology and what constitutes a morphological difference. Are all cats the same morphology? Are all dogs the same morphology? And he says yes to both. So then I asked what's the morphological differences between a cat and a dog, and he mentioned, well, they have different number of muscles. So if for Nephilim, different number of muscles meaning morphological difference, then what about the fact that several dogs have different number of bones than others? Sure, tail bones, but still bones nonetheless. His answer was it wasn't created by nature, it was interbreeding caused by man and genetic engineering, although it's not genetic engineering. And so that does not prove or disprove evolution. However, this is the way evolution works. Interbreeding, mutations, and you get new species that are different than others. Also, I noticed something. I came across something yesterday. Very interesting. If you'll, I'll leave a link to one of these. Something I came across yesterday. Very interesting. Double pod cat. At least that's what you need to type in Google. I'll leave a link to a Wikipedia page about it. Very interesting. Seems that some cats have more fingers than others, and house cats. And yeah, sure, it's a mutation, but it's one that was created by nature. So there you have it, Nephilim. Nature does make morphological differences. So ask him what will prove to him that evolution is true. I mean, he says, okay, that's not proof for evolution. So what is proof for evolution? And he says, nothing. You cannot prove evolution. There is no way you can prove to me that evolution is true. And well, that is something very honest of him to say. For him, nothing will prove evolution. The question is it dishonest of him to have that state of mind in the first place? And to which I answer, how about you atheists? What will prove to you that God exists? I mean, if God came down to you and says, here, I exist, is that going to be proof enough? How will you know that whoever is in front of you is God? What proof will you ask of him to prove his godliness? And to be honest, I think that most of you will say that there is no way for God to prove his godliness to me, because you don't have a definition of what God is. You don't know what you call it. Care, call it no. I don't know. You don't have a definition of this is God, and because you don't have that, nothing wrong with that. But because you don't have a definition of what God is, nothing will be God for you. So, as dishonest as we like to call Nephilim, we need to consider, are we also to some extent dishonest ourselves? Next we talked about information, and he asked how can nature produce information, and I gave a very simple example. A rock falls from a cliff onto a sandy shore and it leaves a crater, and that tells us, that crater gives us information that the rock came from that cliff over there. No, for Nephilim that's not information. For Nephilim, information is a communication from a sender to a receiver, and so by his definition of information, information has to come from God. So when he asks you, is DNA a medium for information, you have to ask, well, if by information you mean a message from God, then no, DNA is not information. I'll leave a link to his Webster definition of information, and if you notice, definition 2b is the one that talks about DNA. So Nephilim, you're simply using the wrong definition for information when you're talking about DNA. Sure, the first one talks about communication, but if you look closely, second one, 2b, talks about simply transferring a sequence from one place to another. I'm not exactly sure by heart what it said. Well, I'm just summarizing this here, although it's going to be about the same length as the debate was. We closed it with, I tried to close it with a little bit of humor, but I think Nephilim didn't get my jokes exactly. Maybe it's too serious, maybe it was just too late for him, 2 a.m. or something by his time. Have a listen to that clip, it's quite entertaining, quite interesting, and leave your comments here if you have any. Thank you and goodbye.